One of these individuals said that, quote, The Rock is being chronically late was the only consistency with him. Okay, chronically late.
Welcome back to the Real Chums News. We are excited to be talking about today's stories. Marcel has them for today, so break them down for us. What are we starting with?
We have a lot this past week.
We did have a lot, and it was hard to kind of sift through.
Yeah.
I was like, I should send this to Marcel, and I was like, no, I think we already have some other stories. No, this is going to happen.
Yeah, so I mean, this is kind of like our highlights, I guess, of the week.
Let us know in the comments which things you thought was really interesting, because we'd love to read them and have a discussion in the comments below.
Yeah. So I want to start off with Chris Hemsworth. He's doing the rounds right now for Fury.
Yeah,
or
for Furiosa.
Furiosa.
Mm-hmm. Which I forget that he's in, honestly.
That nose, man. It's because of the nose.
It's the nose and the hair. Yeah, it is the nose. It is the nose. You're
right. So he's doing his rounds, and he did a spread on Vanity Fair. But I want to kind of point out a couple of things which I think are relevant to at least what we talk about. One, they brought up the Avengers, right? So he talked about how he just felt like he was like a bodyguard for the Avengers at one point. Like his character was not given enough to do. Captain America or Robert Downey Jr., they have these quips going back and forth, whereas oftentimes he felt that he was just kind of there, right? And he wish he could have said those lines, right? Here's something that he says. Sometimes I felt like a security guard for the team. I would read everyone else's lines and go, oh, they got way cooler stuff. They're having more fun. What's my character doing? It was always about, you've got the wig on, you've got the muscles, you've got the costume. Where's the lighting?
The eye candy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So interesting on how he felt about the role. He goes on to talk about, obviously, with Taika Waititi coming in and like rebranding that character for the third one, right? For Ragnarok. But then here's what I want to talk about.
Okay.
Which is the fourth latest one, Love and Thunder. He says, I got caught up in the improv and the wackiness, and I became a parody of myself. I didn't stick the landing.
Okay, I did see this quote come up, and I was wondering if you're going to bring this up, because I think it shows the caliber of actor he is to say, listen, I got caught up.
Yes.
And admitting to feeling that maybe he dropped the ball on what that movie could have been if he'd taken other aspects more seriously, or like understanding the character and the growth that he was having in this one movie. Even though I did enjoy, I rewatched Love and Thunder a while back, and I was like, it's not as bad as I remember it.
I need to revisit it because I've only seen it once.
Yeah, I had watched it once. I revisited it recently, and I was like, it's not as bad as I remember it, but it's also not as great as I wanted it.
Yeah, no, I agree, and especially here's the thing though. Who's at fault here? I appreciate that Chris is like taking ownership on this, but who's at fault? And now I'm not one to like blame, like say that the Taika Waititi was at fault here, but like was he at fault? Is it not the director's job to like reel you in, guide you?
Listen, like here's the thing.
And then the other thing, aren't they sending dailies to Kevin Feige? I know Kevin Feige isn't watching dailies every night, right? He's not. But like at some point he had to like looked at and been like, this is a little bit too much improv.
Yeah, I mean, that is a good question. I don't know. But what I do know, you get in the weeds and you look back at it and you're like, there's so many things that happen on set that you're like, oh, this is great. And the energy and the passion and the desire to want to make a great movie, you get caught up easy. I can see how easy it is for many people to get like caught up or excited about things in moments of silos, because you're having to push through to accomplish the task.
Sure. It was also during the pandemic.
That's true.
Right? So like
you have to do what you can do.
Yeah.
I think it comes down to the pressure that Marvel is a studio. So maybe this is Kevin Feige's, not overall like fault, but like the studio itself, the desire to want to hit this quota so that they can stay quote unquote on track, rather than saying, okay, we've done four films.
Yeah.
Are we still on track vision wise for what we're trying to accomplish? Are we running into delays in some fashion with the overall story, or are we hitting the beats? Do we feel like they're delivering great films, or are we just trying to get the pipeline through so that we fulfill on what people, like, quote unquote, what people want?
What people want. No. Makes sense. I appreciate that Chris is like taking ownership on this.
Yeah.
But he does go on to say like he wants to do a fourth.
Yeah.
To make up for what, or a fifth to make up for what happened with the fourth. Which I would like that.
I would too, actually.
I'm one of those people who really like Natalie Portman in that movie.
I did too.
I wish she would come back.
I liked it more the second time I watched it.
Okay, yeah. Look, we'll see what happens. Nothing's been confirmed with a fifth Thor.
No.
I hope we get another one. I want like a good send-off to this character. Mm-hmm. I would love for Natalie Portman to take over the mantle. I don't think that will.
I don't think it happened. But I could see
there's too many haters out there that only want white male guys as Thor.
Give us a female Thor for a little bit. Or what about what's the like horse looking guy? Buck.
What is his name?
Anyways, this Vanity Fair article is great. You should read it. We'll leave it again in the description below. All right. Next up, we have Jeff Bridges returns to Tron. Ares.
So this was announced. Obviously, we saw that first image of like the red looking player, which is most likely Jared Leto. Anyways, look, he's coming back. He released a picture where he's reading the script. He was on a podcast talking about it. He says, I'm heading off this Saturday to play a part in the third installment of the Tron story. Jared Leto is a star of this third one. I'm really anxious to work with him. I've admired his work. He actually, Variety, when they reached out to his team, he had already filmed all his parts. So he's back. He talks about how there's less AI usage because he didn't like how his younger version looked.
Yeah.
This was 2000.
Yeah, it was pretty early stages in this sort of. I didn't feel like it was that bad.
I didn't mind it when he was like in the grid. For me, in my head canon, I was like, yeah, this is a digital version of a younger version, so he would look weird like that. When they had those scenes like outside of the world, outside and. Yeah. With his son, that was like, it feels a little bit rough, but it didn't impact my love for that movie.
No, I love that movie.
I'm excited about this,
except
for the fact that Jared Leto is the protagonist. Why? Ugh.
I think that, you know what, I'm very excited for this. I actually think that they still, I'm hopeful that this will do well. I think I feel like it's too long, a little too long.
Yeah. They took way too long for the sequel, right? Yeah. To the second one. And I think they took, again, longer for this one to come out. So
we'll see what happens.
We'll see.
Okay, let's skip this, Dwayne, because I think you got lots to say.
Dwayne, there's a big article by The Wrap. The Wrap did a whole detailed look into past behavior of, recent behavior from Dwayne Johnson in some of his former work, and most recently talking about Red 1 that's due out this year. It was supposed to come out in Christmas time of 2023, got delayed to Christmas time of 2024. Red 1, have you heard about this movie?
I have not heard about this movie.
It's a prequel to Red Notice.
Okay.
No, it's not. I'm kidding. No.
Got him.
This is it's just funny that he has two movies that are Red Notice and then Red 1.
Yeah, I was like, is this connected to Red Notice?
It's not. So this is a movie about Santa Claus getting kidnapped. Okay, so they have to release the elves. It's an acronym for, I can't remember what it is, who then have to go out and find Santa Claus and release him. Okay, and that's who Dwayne Johnson. He's part of this secret agent, this secret organization within the
Santa Claus universe
where he's he has to go pull him out.
Is this based off another movie?
No. You're confusing this with the elves in the first Santa Claus movie, who they're like, dispatch the elves, and they fly and then they go rescue them out of prison. I think someone took that idea and like, let's make a whole movie out of that.
Okay.
But this is a proposed trilogy. So this is supposed to be 3 movies. And it has the guy who directed Jumanji, the Jumanji movies, coming in for this. So here's kind of what's going on. I'm gonna actually, when you think of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, what comes to mind?
Early morning workouts with a cloth over his chest.
Okay.
A pretty personable guy, and a guy who makes a ton of movies.
Yeah, he makes a lot of movies. Personable, I like that.
Yeah.
Well, according to this article, he's not. Also, alleged.
Alleged.
Right?
Allegedly.
We usually here at Real Chumps, we don't feed into clickbait news and nothing like that. This is all alleged behavior. Okay.
But it's just too good not to talk about.
But it's just too good to not talk about.
Okay, so for the record, for those, we have lost episodes that I got a hard drive died, and in that there was a bonus feature, a bonus episode, where Marcel went on a rant about
some
The
feelings
Rock.
I have about The Rock. Yes.
You know, it was a good time, and we have it. It's stored away over here. My little will open up when we hit a certain number. But so Marcel's love for The Rock is not very much.
I think
You have respect for him.
I have lots of respect for him.
He's a great.
I just think as a performer, you know what? We won't get into this.
No. This is
let's just talk about this.
Okay,
so I'm going to lay out some of the things that this article
alleges.
Alleged. Okay.
What are the allegations that is being proposed in the article?
So here's one. Johnson often arrived several hours late to the set of Red One, prompting the crew to try and work around him. Okay. So not only would he be several hours, but he'd be anywhere from 6 to 8 hours late.
Damn,
Okay.
that's a big deal.
Now, one individual, one of these individuals said that, quote, The Rock is being chronically late was the only consistency with him. Okay, chronically late.
Okay.
Right, next one. So 3 anonymous insiders then quoted in this same report that these actions contributed to a $50 million increase in the film's budget.
I mean, I believe it, because like if you have to delay, I mean, you're delaying. That means you have to pay overtime for the slot that you have for your crew, and I mean, like if you're paying overtime, you're doing time and a half.
Yeah.
So not only that, but then you have to extend rental equipment. You have to extend like the time you're taking up for the location,
Catering.
like, XYZ. You're having to order. Yeah, huge. Yeah.
And obviously and hopefully all these individuals are getting paid because they are on set.
Correct.
So yeah, of course that's gonna explode your budget because
Right.
you need to be paying these individuals
Yep.
that are on set.
Yep.
Right? So yeah, $50 million on a movie about Santa Claus getting kidnapped. Okay, I'm just saying.
Wait, that's how much it grew the budget.
Yeah.
So the budget.
I think the budget is at 100 and
I was gonna say like 140 million.
I think I saw it was 150 million.
Yeah.
And now
So you're at 200 million already.
You're 200 million, just because of him being late. Okay. An insider said to know Johnson alleges that the star, quote, pees in a Voss water bottle, okay, while shooting, and then his team or PA has to dispose of it because he's so worried that he wants to make sure he's time sensitive of everyone's time. He doesn't want to waste people's time and goes and pees, so he'd rather pee there.
But
he is 8 hours late.
Hey, priority.
Priorities, man. Like I just
Listen. Once I'm on set, I'm here.
once I'm on set, I'm not gonna waste anyone's time once I'm here. Okay, so he pees in a water bottle.
Okay.
Has someone
Allegedly.
This same article quotes insiders who previously worked with him in Rampage, Ballers, Red Notice, that his chronic lateness impacted production with everything from budgets to overtime, like you said, to just having to rent out equipment, all of that stuff. Here's another one. Here's what another insider said, quote, his refusal to work more than a 4 or 5 hour a day is something that's always there. And this individual suggested that his tardiness was due to, quote, a control thing. Okay? So I guess he's constantly late. However, obviously, Amazon, MGM, who's producing this Santa Claus movie, have said that he's been great to work with. And none of it is true. There is other details about him. We did a whole episode on what happened with the DC EU.
Yeah.
Okay. The article goes on to say that he had hired his ex-brother-in-law, so his ex-wife's brother, okay, who works for $7 Production.
Okay.
That's his production company, right? and he pitched the meeting for them to kind of take over the whole DCEU at that time, which we kind of knew about this, right? He said that he wanted to pitch another sequel to Black Adam, Justice Society, and etc. So the other issue is that his ex-brother-in-law, who has no experience, he started in the industry as making milkshakes for protein shakes for The Rock, is now a producer and
on this film,
on lots of his projects.
Okay.
And that's what's causing a lot of delays and issues, is because they have someone that doesn't have any experience. Look, it's all alleged, right? Could there be some truth in this?
We're neither here to confirm nor deny the allegations. But
I 1000% believe, obviously, the whole $7 trying to take over. DCU,
but,
right? We know that.
I do find it like interesting to see that this is the production that like we're hearing some of these allegations on, with the fact that like he pumps out so much.
And maybe this is the issue. Let's say this is all true.
Okay.
The guy is doing all these movies, right?
Right.
Producing all these movies, starring in all these movies, working out,
launching
too much.
new products.
Has his new what's his tequila drink?
Well, and then he's got a new like beauty product line for men.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So it's in Target.
Oh, wow. Okay. And then I'm not gonna go there. And then he just became like a board member for the WWE.
That's right. He was doing WWE
He's
appearances.
Starring in WWE.
Yep.
He also, I could be wrong, someone might correct me there, but isn't he like part owner or full owner of the XFL?
Yes.
All right, so like you're doing too much.
Yeah, and I don't know how much he's delegating or like where he's putting stuff. So like, it could be that like it's not that it could just be that like he does care about people's time, but he has to care about multiple projects times, and unfortunately, somebody messed up and didn't coordinate the planning. And
he drank too much water and has to pee on set now. Like, I think he just needs to scale down.
Or break up and not be like do the thing that he does love the most, and not have to worry about it, so that people aren't on set and waiting for him or causing whatever it might be. It will be interesting to see how this plays out, and if this was just at the end of the day just some sort of marketing stunt to haters make people famous, bro.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you cause this sort of controversy. He's been in the news for WWE and like showcasing and showing up, and people loving him there and wishing he was still there. Like there's lots of stuff that goes into play that like, I mean that. Who knows? I
feel like ever since Black Adam, he's been struggling, right? That really took a beat.
I think
on him.
Yeah.
Right. His approach to that, him wanting to come in and take over.
Yeah.
Right. That was really bad for him.
Yeah. I think I would agree with that.
And so I do feel like he's, my personal belief, the reason why he's doing a live action Moana is because he's trying to redeem himself for what he's done.
Yeah. Even though I think it's a good potential with Black Adam, I just don't think they executed effectively.
No, they did not at all.
So,
but
it is what it is. You were holding that in so long. You wanted to like talk about it so bad. I mean, that's just wild. 6 hours though. 6 hours like is absolutely bad.
And being on set, you have 10, 12-hour.
Yeah, you have long days.
Shifts, right?
And so if you're only saying, "Oh, I can only shoot for 5 hours," but you're 6 hours late, like that's not cool.
That's not cool at all.
Not cool at all. That burns bridges. That puts terrible taste. And if these allegations are true, if they come out and that we see more people showing up saying, "Yes, this is what happened on XYZ," like. I don't know if that's going to happen or not.
Look, I mean, we all dogged on Vin Diesel for having beef with The Rock.
Yes.
Right? During one of the Fast movies.
Yep. I mean, if like the case is, like, it could easily be that, like, he's like, no, like, that's the beef that was the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Like.
Which would make sense.
It would make sense.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next topic.
Look, we were talking about DC. Yeah, this. We got the announcement from
James Gunn.
Yeah, James Gunn, and the first picture of the new Superman suit with what's his bucket?
With David Cornsweet.
Yeah.
What are your first thoughts on this?
I thought it was gonna be more different
How so?
than
Like Man of Steel?
the Man of Steel.
Okay.
It feels like an interesting hybrid between Man of Steel and DC and the CW. Sort of aesthetic. It's got Man of Steel. It feels like material aesthetic,
Sure.
but then more trying to be traditional on the way they're going about. I mean, he's wearing undies on the. It looks like he's wearing the undies.
He's got the briefs.
The briefs.
Yeah.
The briefs. They're not undies. The briefs on the outside. Whatever. I don't know. What do you call those, man? Like
Briefs, right?
yeah. I mean, but they're like he wears pants. Like is he wearing tights? Is that what do we call them?
It's a bodysuit, and he puts on briefs over it.
Yeah. I guess you're right.
Yeah.
There you go. With the belt.
With the belt, with the gold belt. It looks like it's
That's
gold.
what it looks like.
Yeah.
And then him putting on the belt. I've seen people put it next to the Superman Legacy, which is what this is based off of, the comic book.
I've seen a lot of comparisons to the New 52 Superman.
Yeah, New 52.
Kind of like not padded, but like almost like armored.
Yeah.
With little designs to it. Look, I remember when they showed when we saw the first image of Batman, Robert Pattinson's Batman. I was like, ugh.
That's true. I was also not a huge fan.
Now, a costume designer, when they're designing a costume, especially for a superhero movie, you take a lot of things into consideration: the story, the movement,
Yeah.
okay, and a lot of scenes, right? The director's often there saying, in this shot, we're gonna have the wave's gonna be waving, so it needs to be practical in this sense, whatever it is, right? I don't want to judge it too hard until I see it in action.
Yeah, yeah. Or in some action shot of some kind. Like,
Yeah.
To me, and at the end of the day, I think, this is fun that they released it. I think it gets us excited.
I love the cape all the way here.
I did too, actually. I didn't see it until when we brought it up here. I was looking at a lot of other aspects. I didn't realize how much of it, shoulder, kind of old school style, not gladiator, but that,
And even going back to like the 52 Superman, it's very much like that. The only thing I don't like, which these boots straight up remind me of the Guardians of the Galaxy boots.
Yeah. They don't. I'm not a huge fan of the boots either. I'm not judging it too harshly because I want to see a standing picture.
Yeah.
I remember when the Man of Steel costume was shown, and I was like, "Let's go!" I was pumped.
I do wish they had it. I'm one of those people that falls on the camp of no briefs.
I'm actually. I think I'm on that same camp.
It worked back in the 1920s.
It worked in comic books, but
when you were adapting it to live action, I'm just like, why?
Why?
Yeah.
Especially after getting so many good suits that don't have it.
Yeah.
In my perspective.
Yeah.
Also, we also get a lot of we get Metropolis. We get some kind of
weird beam in the sky.
Yeah, it feels very. It's a Brainiac.
Yeah, it does. That was my initial thoughts. It's interesting that this is what they decided to go with.
I agree. This feels very DC, Zack Snyder feel. When, Superman Legacy, when you see the cover there, it's very bright. It's very, heartwarming feeling.
Interesting. I don't feel like it's... I feel like, obviously, the first image of that Zack Snyder release of his Superman, was at the vault, all, coming out of the vault, right?
Yeah.
Very much in, action.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, he's just putting on his boots. It's...
Taking a sweet time?
Not that, but it feels very I don't know.
Intimate?
Your everyday man.
Interesting.
Approach.
This is the day job.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Well,
look, I'm excited for the movie.
Me too. I'm excited to get some more stuff from it. I'm excited that we got something now to hopefully hold us over to whatever next release we're going to get. We've said it before. We'll say it again. James Gunn and the DC team have the hardest work ahead of them because they are trying to do another rebrand / launch, trying to find success in a place where it might be a little too late, even with James Gunn's power and ability to tell great stories.
So we'll see.
Lastly, we have Sony Apollo buying Paramount. This is coming from the New York Times.
Yeah, so Paramount obviously has been struggling a bit, and they were in talks with Skydance.
They were
to buy them out, and Skydance they've done a lot of stuff with Paramount, like a lot of the whatchamacallit. Anyways, they've done a lot of stuff with Paramount. So they were thinking of buying them. That transition period ended. So then here comes Sony saying, we'll buy you for 26 billion?
Yeah.
That's high, which is like $4 billion above what it's currently valued.
But even though it's there, that like Sony is willing to just pump stuff out.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's interesting because Paramount, obviously, they have their streaming service. Sony has taken the approach of licensing everything out to streamers. Everything from Sony is going to Netflix. Next week, we have Madam Web coming out.
I'm not going to watch it.
But, so it's interesting if this happens, how that strategy is going to... Obviously, you're going to have massive layoffs everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Huge
right?
layoffs.
Layoffs all around, from both executive all the way down to the bottom.
Yep.
And also just the approach of like content strategy.
I mean, to me, I think if this deal does go through, Sony then has a platform to push their spider content that they would like to push. And it becomes like, yes, they have Star Trek, but they'll license that out because people want Star Trek on other platforms. I mean, Paramount was supposed to be a place for Star Trek, and then they relaunched the ability to license it out to other platforms again. So kind of diminishing the people for purchasing their subscription, right?
Yeah.
But Sony brings it in. If they bring it into their fold, they have huge libraries of stuff that they can pump into. They now have a dedicated home to do ownership. Not only that, they own freaking PlayStation. They can recreate. They can bring in an Assassin's Creed story or anime. They could go.
Yeah, you're right.
Like they have a huge. I mean, they could bring a Ratchet and Clank cartoons, and like they have all these entities that they could then pump money into and bring people who are already Sony fans. Then they could say, hey, you buy a PlayStation today, you'll get a year's worth of Paramount Plus or Paramount Plus for free for a year. You're hooked in. That gives them funding or maybe not for a year, but for 6 months, and then you get discounted if you have blah blah blah. Or you hook them in as like you get Sony or PlayStation, whatever their upper tier. You also get Paramount Plus. They're getting double services. They're getting a whole bunch of additional things. Win-win for a lot of different scenarios for Sony's playground.
For Sony's, yeah. Look, here's my pitch. Madam Web and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles coming together and fighting something.
Why would you want Madam? Why would you do that to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Because here's the thing, though. Sony will screw this up, content-wise. It's not if.
When?
It is going to happen.
Oh my gosh.
Okay? They will screw it up. It's just a matter of time. They're going to ruin a lot of these franchises.
Well, that's all we have for today. So let us know if you agree in the comments below.
We'll catch you guys next time.